This is problem number 4 for assessment number 6. In this problem it says solve the inequality, and it gives you m squared plus 2m greater than or equal to 35. So we have a quadratic, but it's a quadratic inequality. And what we want to do with the quadratic inequality is we're going to use one of the ways to solve a quadratic, but we're also going to pair that with making sure that we replace the inequality sign with an equal sign to start. So the first thing let's do, let's get this so that it says greater than or equal to 0. We're going to subtract 35 from each side. We get m squared plus 2m minus 35 is greater than or equal to 0. And then we're going to replace inequality sign with an equal sign. So we're going to say m squared plus 2m minus 35 equals 0. And we'll come back to this at the end of the problem. Now I'm going to decide between factoring, completing the square, and the quadratic equation. So I'm going to look at the ending term. First of all, I noticed that a is 1 and b is even. Because a is 1 and b is even, I can use any of these methods. So I'm just going to go down the list and start with the easiest one. What are the factors of negative 35? Well, negative 35, negative 7 and 5, or 5 and negative 7. And then obviously I've got 1 and 35, but because I'm trying to get 2 there, I know it's got to be either one of these two. So this one equals negative 2. This one equals, I actually wrote them the same way. That should be plus 7, this should be minus 5. Got to actually switch the signs there. So negative 7 plus 5, negative 2, negative 5 plus 7, that's going to be 2. So I want to use these factors here because I have positive 2 there. So I'm going to factor it and say m minus 5, m plus 7 is equal to 0. Now I can use the zero product property and say m minus 5 equals 0, or m plus 7 equals 0. Add the 5 over, I get m equals 5, or m equals negative 7. These are the roots. I can now use the number line to actually look at this inequality. All right, so we went to an equation for a second. Now we're going to come back to the inequality part. And let's go ahead and just use the original inequality. So I'm going to write that down right here, m squared plus 2m greater than or equal to 35. Let's plug in some numbers, negative 10, 0, and 10. If I plug negative 10 into the function, does it make sense? If it makes sense, then these are solutions. If it doesn't make sense, these would not be solutions. So we're going to start by plugging negative 10 in. Negative 10 squared is going to be 100. Minus 20, so 100 minus 20 is 80. Is that bigger than 35? Yes. These are solutions here. Plug in 0. 0 cancels this term and this term, so I have 0 greater than or equal to 35. No, that's not true. Plug in 10. 10 squared is 100 plus 20, right? 2 times 10. 100 plus 20 is 120. That's greater than 35. These are solutions here. So my solution set for this quadratic inequality run from negative infinity to negative 7. And because it says equals, we're going to say that it includes the root. Union, this side, it includes the root because there's an equal sign on the inequality. So 5 to infinity. So my solution set just skips between the numbers negative 7 and 5. Otherwise, all the other numbers on the outside between negative 7 and 5 out here, they are solutions.